Hey guys, thanks for coming by today. Give me a little time to talk to you. I bought this house. It was a foreclosure, a VA foreclosure, and my wife and I looked for it for about a year while I was virtually homeless. I'm an ex-con. I'm from Generation X, and hey, my little bird. I want to pose a question to some of you guys out there that have done time. Is it just me, or is there's some real fucking idiots on social media now, have big channels, and they're kind of representing everybody as that, this is what ex-cons are like. And these big muscle heads, and all they talk about is materialism. And you can just tell they've gained no wisdom at all. Their experience in prison did nothing but they wanted to become some kind of Hollywood image of what an ex-con is or what a convict is. I just want to let all you people that have never been to prison know there's about 1/3 of the guys that get locked up in this nation who actually don't want to be convicts, don't want to be the typical ex-convict, don't think about criminality, and just don't want to be associated with these fucking losers. Sorry for the language. I promise I wasn't going to cuss. This topic has really started to bother me lately. Hold on, let me drop a little bully off. This is Bully Boy. Quit it. There's his friends. I'm pretty busy. Like most guys that have gotten out, we're trying to hustle around, and 2/3 of us end up going back, and 1/3 kind of figure it out and get it right. Well, I'm here to represent the 1/3 today. There's many, many ways to prepare yourself once you've landed in prison, to prepare yourself, educate yourself. You may have to work a little harder, may have to figure out ways to get into programs, figure out ways to stay out of trouble. But I mean, that's what adults do. Most of the guys I hung out with in prison. All right, let me back up a little bit just to give you a little background. I was a business owner for about 8 years, I guess. Had a this is a medium-sized construction company. And in my 20s, a guy that had worked for me previously the year before broke into my home. And what he thought was going to be a knife fight turned out to be a one-sided gunfight, and I'll get more into that later. But most of the guys I know from prison had similar circumstances where they were. And when I say most of the guys I know, I've met thousands. I've met all kinds. The guys that I associated with and hung out with. Sorry, I don't even have a stick for my camera. I just got pissed off watching one of these idiot influencers tell us how cool it is to be an ex-con. How you can't be a man unless you have that kind of mentality. But anyway, the people that I associated with, a lot of them were business owners before they went in. They were, at least hardworking people, took care of their families. And, they say birds of birds of a feather flock together. Well, that's especially true in prison. Most of the guys I hung out with had what we used to call a body. Now that means something totally different. And you have rapos hanging out with rapos and chomos hanging out with chomos and gangbangers and gangbangers. You know how it goes. But there's a whole class of people in prison that they go there and they're like, damn, I fucked up. And then they see the heartache that they've caused to their families. They've got kids left behind. They're on the phone with them all the time trying to write them letters. And, we don't get representation Everybody just thinks everybody in there is just continually fucking their lives up and fucking up society. That's true for about 2/3. They go back. But the silent 1/3 is one you rarely hear anything about. And if you're one of those, how about give me a like? This is just an experiment I'm doing, spur of the moment, starting a channel. I want to pull some of us guys together and talk about some important topics that get overlooked. But this is the homestead. I had a dream, not like a literal dream, but something I thought about almost every day, was how I wanted to be when I got out. And I wanted to provide for my family, give them all the things they didn't have because my dumb ass went to prison. Hanging out with people I shouldn't be hanging out with, and then I became a person that nobody should hang out with. I mean, I wasn't totally innocent either. Done a lot of BS in my early days. But the point is, you learn from these things and you gain some amount of wisdom. And if you don't, you're still out basically scamming people on the internet and calling everybody an idiot who doesn't think just like you do, who doesn't scream at people that are just trying to do better. Talk just down to everybody around you. If you don't have a Bugatti with rims on it, you mean nothing to me. I feel like you guys, a lot of you guys that have never been to prison, I feel like you think people like this actually walk around inside prison. I can't speak for some of the tougher places in California. You know, I've been to the tougher prisons in North Carolina, the toughest prisons in North Carolina. I did 13 years. People don't act that way. All that rah, 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 and smacking people and running around stabbing people up. They've got a place for those people. It's called closed custody, maximum security. It's called the Hole. It's my shop. I built this by my hands, my own hands. So you get a good picture of it. Got a little workout situation going on back there. But anyway, those people don't really exist. That's Hollywood. If they do exist, they come in there for about, I give them a month tops with their chest out, talking about who they're going to smack around and all that. And then they get the ever-loving hell beat out of them, or stabbed, possibly killed, because of their attitude. One thing about prison, and I'm speaking for the people that I hung with, you try to learn how to get along with people. You try to get better and better. It's a skill, you know. How not to be disrespectful. That's that young boy stuff. All that's a young mentality. Which, you know, I was that way when I was a kid too. But when you see grown men walking around out here weighing 250, 260 pounds, tatted from head to toe, nothing against tatted people. Got one myself, but they just take everything to the extreme, you know, just trying to show how tough they are. That's that small dick energy is what that is. Normal ex-cons, ones who have learned anything while they were in there and didn't continue to hang out with the same losers. The ones who actually read books. I read 2 books a week the whole time I was down. I just read, that was my goal, one of my goals. You learn how to get along with everybody, even the COs. You don't have conversations with them. You don't, just kick it with the COs, but you can nod your head at them and say, all right, have a good evening, man. There's just ways of treating everybody with respect. And the ones that you're not able to treat with respect, you don't deal with them. I don't walk out on the yard and see a chomo and be like, F you, dude, gonna do this to you, gonna do that to you. If it's gonna get done, it's gonna get done. But I've got my mind on positive things. I'm thinking about my family. 2/3 of the guys in there, I heard this so many times when I went in. 2/3 of the guy in there, they're trying to school you about how to do time. They'll say, hey man, you can't live inside and on the outside at the same time. Can't live in both places at one time. Your time's going to drag out. It's going to take forever to get out of here. It's going to be twice as hard. And I'm like, opposed to what? Like, leaving my family out here and not trying to communicate with them? Leaving my daughter and not letting her know I love her? My time's just going to have to be hard. Things are hard. We put ourselves in messed up situations, but then you just don't fold and take the easy road out. And that's what a lot of people, I see a lot of guys online now, just trying to take the easy way out. Let me tell you, if there were no social media, these guys still have a criminal mentality. They've not gained any wisdom since they've been inside. They just purposely, a lot of them, tried to appear to become harder, appear to become more criminal, appear to become, more ruthless. What kind of way is that to live? Who in the hell really wants to be around these people? Man, with my criminal record on paper, I wouldn't want to be around me. I came out here, and it's my job to prove myself to the community. You damn sure don't want to rely on a prison reputation to go far in the real world. I mean, that's good for a confidence game. That's good for tricking people that don't know anything about prison into thinking that you were a shot caller while you're in there. Shot callers don't call themselves shot callers. They sit back fairly quietly on the yard and point their finger and whisper in somebody's ear and never say, hey, I'm the shot caller on the yard. I don't know where these guys did time, but this is like Hollywood bullshit. See my chickens over there? This is my bird coop. We raise pigeons for funerals and weddings and special events. I built all this up pretty much myself. I bought a old bucket truck. I like to buy old vehicles, by the way. I bought an old bucket truck, and I tipped just for putting this net all up through the woods so my birds could be protected and be safe in here. And then I painted a few houses with the truck, 2-story houses. Then I cut a few trees, did some large bush jobs. It's kind of what I do, man. I hustle, but in a legal way. But anyway, back to the 1/3 out there. You don't have to do exactly like me. I'm not doing exactly like you. But if you are not criminal minded and you're about sick to damn death of these guys trying to represent what it is to be a real convict. I was a prisoner. I was not an inmate. Don't see myself as a convict. I was a prisoner. I was being held against my will. Rightly so? Yeah, probably. But still, I'm being held against my will. And I made the best I could of that time. I tried to educate myself. I even went to, community college, got different certificates and diploma, and just stayed busy the whole time and tried to hang around positive people. And I feel like a lot of you out there don't know that we even exist. People that the whole time they're in there, they're thinking about when they get out, how they're not really going to make up for that time, but how to flow back as seamlessly as possible into society and be accepted back into society and make their family proud. That's like the main goal for 1/3 of prisoners. So if you're tired of people focusing on the 2/3 and then it's hard enough being an ex-con, but then everybody kind of looking at it's like, oh, you must be this, you're in there, you must have been stabbing somebody every other week to survive. No, I wasn't. I really didn't even fight that much. I mean, if you're in prison, you're going to fight. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But if you carry it like a man, there's a little bit of anxiety you carry around with you the whole time you're in there. It could jump off at any time, but mostly it's just boredom. Anybody talking like they want to go to prison for street cred or anything like that, I'm telling you, you're going to regret that. It's the most boring place in the freaking world. Everything's the same color. Everything's painted the same way. You share clothes with 1,000 other men, all the way down to your underwear. Can't even shit in peace. You're not going to have sex for however long you're in there. Well, I mean, unless you give it up or something, but no sex. Man, you can't even jerk off. I mean, it's like, it's hard in there. Prison is not cool. And being one of these scammers on the internet that are telling you how to be like them and charging you money for it, we got to stop. We got to stop. So if you're one of the if you're one of the 1/3, let your voice be heard. Give me a like, push it out. Like I say, this is a spur of the moment video. It'll get better in the future, guys. I'm just kind of, damn, get on it, boy. I live in an interesting place. It's a diverse community. Even the black people around here are rednecks. You hear gunfire going all out through these woods all the time. It's pretty interesting, but more about that later. Anyway, if you're interested in this, give me a like, push this thing out, and I'm actually going to start sharing with you some ideas and some of the plans I had for when I got out, and some things I did, some ways you can get some free things that are, I mean, people you can surround yourself with, certain businesses that will literally beg you to come work for them, and you can be on call until you can build yourself up. How to get into sales. That's what I do now. I mainly sell old trucks and boats I refurbish. And see that old dump truck over there? Got another one up on the hill. I got an older 2007 Corvette in there with low miles on it. I'll probably flip that. And then I'll do other type jobs too. But it's all kind of ways to make a living. I'd be interested in how you guys do it also. Man, I don't know everything. I don't know a lot of things. I was in a concrete box for over a decade reading books. So there's still a lot of things I'm behind on. Sometimes I feel like I'm in my 20s mentally. In other ways, I feel like I'm in my 80s as far as the wisdom that I've learned that pertains to real life and the way I see the world now. A lot of things are crystal clear. And I just would like to talk to you guys in the future and exchange ideas and hold each other up, help each other out. I can introduce you to the community of guys that I hang with here locally, and most of these guys are business owners and like success in their own right. And success to me is not going back to prison, and none of us have, and we're all doing good with our families, and it's possible with just a little bit of sacrifice and taking a step at a time, making good decisions, and not trying to act like a fucking heathen and making the spot hot for all the rest of us. Anyway, I got a lot more to say, guys, but that's it for today. I just kind of want to get that off my chest. Let me know if you're interested, or maybe this will be the last video. We'll see what happens. Thanks.